You wake up in the dark, choking on your own breath. No nightmare, no scream, just your voice echoing inside your skull, saying something you don't remember thinking. The room smells stale, like fear that's been sealed away too long. And in that moment, you realize the truth. You didn't wake up from sleep. You woke up from running. You've been fleeing your own thoughts for years, drowning them in noise, in people, in distractions that rot faster than they comfort. Every time a weakness surfaced, you buried it, told yourself it didn't matter, told yourself you were fine. But weakness doesn't disappear when ignored. It ferments. It waits. This is the first dangerous habit, not hiding what's broken, but forcing yourself to look at it, and it hurts. It feels like standing in front of a mirror you've avoided your whole life. Your reflection isn't monstrous. It's worse. It's honest. Trembling. Unarmored. Human. Your instinct is to look away, to escape, because somewhere deep inside, you believe that seeing your fragility will shatter you, that acknowledging fear will erase whatever strength you thought you had. But that belief is the lie that's been slowly hollowing you out. The real terror isn't what you see in the mirror. It's what happens when you never look. So the question hangs in the dark, heavy and unavoidable. If you stop running now, will you break? Or will you finally become something else? You stop. For the first time, you don't run. Your body still wants to flee, but your feet stay planted. The silence thickens, stretching like skin pulled too far. This is where most people panic. This is where they reach for noise, for messages, for anyone to dull the moment. But you don't. You let the quiet approach. Loneliness isn't a monster here. It doesn't scream or chase. It moves carefully, like a surgeon washing their hands before the cut. Cold, precise, necessary. This is the second dangerous habit, choosing. Solitude on purpose, not as punishment, but as exposure. And the third follows immediately learning to live without reassurance. No one tells you you're strong. No one promises it will pass. There are no soft voices to hold you together. The room offers nothing but time, minutes slow into wait. You hear your breathing too clearly. Each inhale sounds borrowed. Each exhale feels like something leaving you. The loneliness begins its work, peeling away layers you didn't know were there. Not gently, efficiently. It strips off, borrowed. Opinions, practiced smiles. Identities built to be accepted instead of understood. It doesn't hurt because it destroys you. It hurts because it reveals you. With no audience, the lies collapse. There's no one left to blame, impress, or convince. Just you, standing inside yourself, exposed in ways comfort never allowed. And in that nakedness, something unsettling forms. You realize this solitude isn't the wound, it's the preparation. Because when nothing and no one remains, the next pain doesn't have to knock. It already knows where you are. The darkness deepens. Silence hardens into pressure. Your mind stops pretending to be a shelter and reveals what it really is. An interrogation room with no exits. The light is always on. The chair is cold. And you are both the prisoner and the one asking questions. This is where the next dangerous habits take shape. You turn overthinking into a blade. You stop asking questions for comfort and start asking them to wound. Strong minds are not gentle places. They do not offer peace on demand. They apply force. They challenge every excuse, every memory, every version of the story you've told yourself to survive. Your thoughts crawl across the floor like injured animals. They snarl. They repeat. They refuse to die quietly. Each one drags a chain of guilt, regret, and doubt behind it. You press harder. Why did you accept that? Why didn't you speak? Why do you still flinch at memories that should be dead? There is no clarity here. Only friction. Only endurance. You begin to understand something most people never learn. Inner strength is not calmness. It is tolerance. It is the ability to stay present while your own mind tries to break you apart. The hours blur. Your head throbs. Questions lose their edges and become weight. You can't tell if you're getting closer to truth or just grinding yourself down. And that's when it happens. You grow tired not of pain, but of thinking itself. And in that exhaustion, something shifts. Because when the mind is finally worn thin, it opens a door you didn't know existed. One that leads deeper, quieter, and far more dangerous. The pace slows, but the weight increases. Your thoughts no longer fight. They sink. The interrogation room fades, replaced by something heavier, exhaustion that seeps into the bones. You're not overwhelmed anymore. You're emptied. And that's more dangerous. This is where the next habits take root. You stop demanding relief. You accept numbness without panic. Pain no longer feels like an emergency. It feels familiar, livable. You learn how to carry it without flinching. Some people collapse here. They mistake exhaustion for failure. They beg for feeling, for meaning, for something to wake them up. But others do something quieter. They settle into the fatigue. They make a home inside it. Not because it's safe, but because it's honest. Your body feels heavier now. Each movement costs something. Your chest tightens, not with fear, but with dull pressure. Even breathing feels intentional, as if your body and soul have agreed to conserve energy, to stop reacting, to endure. This numbness isn't peace. It's survival refined into routine. Pain doesn't scream anymore. It hums. Constant, predictable, almost background noise. And that terrifies you more than agony ever did. Because when pain becomes normal, it stops teaching lessons. It stops demanding change. It just exists, shaping you quietly, invisibly. You realize you're no longer trying to escape suffering. You're learning how to live inside it. And a question begins to form, slow and unsettling. If pain is no longer an event, but a condition, then what exactly is left of you? The intensity returns, sharp and unforgiving. The numbness cracks, and the pain finds its voice. You don't just feel it anymore. You let it speak. It leaks out through memories, through scars you stopped hiding, through truths you never cleaned up to sound acceptable. This is another dangerous habit, refusing to sugarcoat your story. You stop editing the past to make it survivable. You stop turning wounds into lessons too early. Instead, you name them as they are. Failures, humiliations, moments where you broke, begged, or stayed silent. And you let those fractures become part of who you are. Inner strength doesn't arrive when you look brave. It's born when you refuse to look away from your own disgrace. When you stop pretending the blood never happened. The images come back now. Split skin, open memories, nights that still taste metallic in your mouth. Old voices echo, not asking for forgiveness, just reminding you what was done. There is nothing elegant about this. No redemption arc. Strength here is ugly. It limps. It bleeds. It smells like things left too long in the dark. And that's the truth most people can't tolerate. Resilience is not beautiful. It is survivable damage. You wear your losses openly now, not as trophies, as weight, as proof that you didn't escape unchanged. But even endurance has a limit. Even honesty cuts too deep if held too long. The body tightens. The mind strains. Something inside begins to fracture under the load. Because no matter how much pain you can name, no matter how long you carry it, there comes a moment when holding on becomes impossible. And when that moment arrives, you don't fall gently. It happens all at once, and then it doesn't stop. The pressure finally wins. What you've been holding back floods through you without order or mercy. The fear, the grief, the rage you pretended was discipline. You don't manage it. You don't analyze it. You let it tear through you. This is another dangerous habit, allowing the breakdown to happen on purpose. Control slips from your hands like something slick with blood. Your chest tightens, breath stuttering, vision blurring at the edges. You feel small again, exposed, reduced to sensation, heat, weight, collapse. There is no dignity in this moment, no lesson, just the body giving up the fight it was never meant to win alone. Time slows. Every second stretches as you fall inward. There is no ground, no bottom, just the endless sensation of losing grip. You thought strength meant holding yourself together, but here you learn the opposite. Sometimes strength is releasing everything at once and surviving the impact. This fall feels permanent, like something essential is being stripped away, like you'll never reassemble the same way again. And you're right about that. Something is dying here, the version of you that believed control was safety. But this isn't the end. It only feels like one, because collapse is not annihilation. It's exposure. It's the moment when all the false structures finally fail, leaving only what cannot be destroyed. And as the fall slows, as the dust settles inside you, a question begins to form through the wreckage. If this is what breaking feels like, then what does standing back up even mean? You rise slowly, not with relief, with awareness. There is no light waiting for you, no sense of victory, just clarity, cold, sharp, unforgiving. You stand, but you don't gather everything you lost. Some parts are left on the floor, and you don't reach for them. You already know they won't follow. This is where another habit settles in, killing expectation. You stop hoping for fairness, for closure, for recognition. You stop believing that endurance will be rewarded. In its place, something heavier. Arrives responsibility, not for what happened to you, but for what you do next. No excuses survive here. The strength you carry now doesn't feel powerful. It feels restrained. You no longer chase outcomes. You no longer need to win. You understand. And understanding is colder than ambition ever was. It doesn't motivate, it anchors. It tells you exactly where you stand and exactly what won't. change. The imagery is empty. Like a battlefield after the noise has died. No bodies moving, no flags waving, just ground marked by damage. You walk through it quietly, aware that something irreversible has taken place. You didn't heal. You adapted. An adaptation always leaves scars. There's no pride in this clarity, only acceptance. You see people differently now. Systems, promises, yourself, you know what breaks humans and what doesn't. And that knowledge cannot be undone as you move forward. Something settles deep in your chest. Not hope, not fear, but certainty, because when understanding replaces illusion, you don't return to innocence, you move toward something else entirely. And what waits ahead isn't comfort, it's a warning. Everything slows now, not because the pain is gone, but because you finally understand its cost. This is the truth no one advertises, the one whispered only after midnight. Inner strength is not free, it demands payment. And the currency is softness. You are safer now, less shaken, harder to manipulate. The world can no longer cut you as easily as it once did, but you feel it, the trade that was made. You don't bend the same way. You don't trust the same way. Some warmth never fully returns. This is the final dangerous habit. Accepting the price without pretending it doesn't exist. Strength did not make you kinder. It made you clearer. It didn't restore innocence. It buried it. You see intentions faster now. Lies feel louder. Suffering no longer surprises you. And while this awareness protects you, it also distances you from people, from hope, from certain versions of love. There is no lesson here meant to inspire. No neat conclusion. Just a warning that burns slowly, like embers under the skin. Civilizations praise resilience, but never speak of what it erases. The world needs strong people, but it rarely cares what they lose. Becoming that way, you stand. Here now, armored by experience, untouched by illusions. Not broken, not healed, just altered. And that alteration is permanent. So before you wish for unbreakable strength, before you glorify endurance, ask yourself this honestly without romance or bravado. Are you ready to lose what strength demands? Because once you pay the price, there is no refund.